23rd June 2022. Morning Murli. Shanti. BapDada. Madhuban. Sweet children, the multi-millions you have here will be of no use. Everything is to turn to dust. Therefore, now earn a true income for the land of truth. Question: due to which aspect are you Brahmins considering to be more elevated than the deities? Answer: you Brahmins now serve everyone spiritually. You enable souls to experience meeting the Father, the Supreme Soul. Deities do not do public service. They are, as are the king and queen, so the subjects. They experience the reward of the efforts they made here. They do not do any service. This is why you Brahmin servers are considered to be more elevated than the deities. Shanti. Whose gathering is this? It is that of human souls and the Supreme Soul. Someone who has a body is said to be an embodied being, a human being, whereas the other is called the Supreme Soul. Human souls have been separated from the Supreme Soul for a long time, and this now is known as the auspicious meeting. Your children know that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, cannot be called a human soul because he takes a body on loan. He takes the support of a body. He himself comes and says, "Children, I also have to take the support of this matter. I do not enter a womb. I incarnate in this one and explain to you. You human souls have your own bodies. I do not have a body of my own. And so, this is a unique gathering. It isn't that we have a guru, disciples, or followers. No, this is a school. It isn't that when the guru leaves you would receive his throne. Here, there is no question of a throne. Your children have faith about who is teaching you. No one without faith would come here. The clan of Brahmins is the clan of human souls because the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, creates Brahmin through Brahma. You know that your Brahmins are most elevated, even more elevated than the deities. Deities do not do public service. They are, as are the king and queen, so the subjects. They experience their reward according to the efforts they made. There, no one does service. It is Brahmins that do service. Your children know that you are learning Raj Yoga from the Unlimited Father exactly as you did 5,000 years ago. You are children. It isn't a question of followers. The Father repeatedly calls you children and explains to you. You have now become soul conscious. Souls are imperishable, whereas bodies are perishable. Bodies are called clothings. This is dirty, impure clothing because the soul has been following devilish dictates and indulging in sin and has therefore become impure. The words pure and impure are specially connected with devices. The Father says, do not become impure anymore. At the moment, everyone is trapped in the chains of Ravan because this is the kingdom of Ravan. Therefore, the Father liberates you from the kingdom of Ravan and sends you into the kingdom of Ram. They say God, the Father, is the liberator. He says, I liberate everyone from sorrow and take them back to the land of peace. Having been there, your children then have to come down and repeat your parts afresh. First, the deities have to repeat their parts. They were the first ones. The original, eternal deity religion, it's once again being established through Brahma. Destruction of the Iron Age is just ahead. Everyone is in extreme darkness. Many have become millionaires and multimillionaires. But this is the great pump of Ravan with which they are tempted. The father explains that is the false income, which is to turn to dust. They will not gain anything. You have come to claim the inheritance for your future 21 births from the Father. This is the true income for the land of truth. Everyone has to go back home. Everyone is in the stage of retirement. The Father says, I am the Sadguru, the bestower of salvation for all. I uplift the sages and impure ones. Even small children are taught to remember shivbaba. You call through away the rest of the pictures. Only one shivbaba and none other. You know that you have once again come to claim the inheritance of unlimited happiness from the Father. You have been claiming limited inheritances from limited fathers for birth after birth, and you have been becoming impure by following the devilish dictates of Ravan. People do not understand these things. They burn an effigy of Ravan, and so he should be destroyed after he has been burnt. When they burn human bodies, all traces of their names and forms are wiped out. But the name and form of Ravan do not disappear. They burn his effigy again and again. The father says, these five vices are Ravan. They are your enemies for 63 births. An enemy of Bharat means your enemy. You fell into the jail of Ravan when you started following the path of sin. For precisely half a cycle, it is the kingdom of Ravan. Ravan is not burnt away, nor does he die. Now you know that you have experienced a lot of sorrow in the kingdom of Ravan. Thus is a play about sorrow and happiness. It is sung, if you are defeated by Maya, you are defeated by everything. And if you conquer Maya, you are able to conquer everything. We are once again conquering Maya and claiming the kingdom of Ram. The kingdom of Ram and Sita is in the silver age. The golden age is the kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan. There it is only the original, eternal deity religion that is called the godly kingdom established by the Father. You cannot call the Father omnipresent because it is a brotherhood. There is only the one Father, and you are all brothers. The Father sits here and teaches souls. The Father's order is, remember me. I have come to give the fruit of devotion. To whom? To those who have performed devotion from the beginning to the end. At first, you only perform devotion to one shivbaba. Now create the temple to Somnath is, means Lord of Nectar. You should think about how wealthy you were and how you have now become poor. What shells? You now have the awareness of 84 births. In your consciousness, you now know what you have become from what you were. The word's embodiment of awareness refers to this time. This does not mean that God came and spoke the Gita in Sanskrit. If it were in Sanskrit, your children would not understand anything. The main language is Hindi. Everything is explained to you in the language that is Brahma's language. Every cycle he explains in the same language. You know that you are sitting in front of BapDada. This family is just of Mama, Baba, and the brothers and sisters. That's all. There are no other relationships. The relationship of brother and sister is only when you belong to Prajapita Brahma. In terms of souls, all are brothers. You are receiving the inheritance from the Father. You souls know that Thus, Father has come. You were the masters of Brahman. The Father is also the master of Brahman. Just as souls are incorporeal, in the same way, the Supreme Soul is also incorporeal. His name is Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. That is the soul that lives in the region far beyond. Supreme Soul means God. You receive the inheritance from the Father. There are no sages, saints, or Mahatmas here. All are children. They are claiming the unlimited inheritance from the Father. No nuns can give the inheritance. The Father is the one who establishes the golden age. He constantly only gives happiness. It is not that He gives both happiness and sorrow. That is not the law. The Father Himself explains and inspire you to make effort to become deities for 21 births. Therefore, He is the bestower of happiness. He is the bestower of happiness and the remover of sorrow. You now know who causes you sorrow. It is Ravan. Thus is called the vicious world. Males and females are both vicious. In the golden age, both were viceless. It was the kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan. The kingdom is ruled lawfully. The elements work under your orders. There are no calamities. Your children have had visions of establishment. Destruction definitely has to take place. On the day of Holi, they make idols and fancy images and ask each other, what will emerge out of this one stomach? Then they reply, missiles. You know what is right. Their science is so powerful. It is the work of intellects. There is so much arrogance of science. They make aeroplanes and so many other things, etc., for happiness, but they will be lead to destruction through them. In the end, they will destroy their own clan. You are incognito. You do not have a war with anyone. You do not cause sorrow for anyone. The Father says you must not cause sorrow for anyone through your minds, words, or deeds. Does the Father ever cause sorrow for anyone? He makes you into the masters of the land of happiness, and so you must give happiness to everyone. Baba has explained if anyone says anything to you, just remain peaceful and cheerful. Stay in yoga and keep smiling. And through your power of yoga, they will become quiet as well. The behavior of the teachers in particular should be very good. You shouldn't have dislike for anyone. The father says, I do not have dislike for anyone. I know that you all are impure, but the drama is made like that. I know what such and such a person's activity is like, and that his food and drink are impure. He just eats whatever is put in front of him. Everyone loves life. I also love life. You know that by having this life, you have to claim your inheritance from Baba. By staying in yoga, your lifespan will increase and there will be fewer sinful actions, and the lifespan of your future 21 births will then increase. The efforts through which a reward is received are made now. Through the power of yoga, we become healthy, and through knowledge, we become wealthy. When there is health and wealth, there is happiness. If you have wealth but no health, there cannot be happiness. There are many kings who are very wealthy but are crippled and ill. It can be understood that they must have performed some sinful acts and that is the fruit of it. The Father tells you many things, but it should not be that what you hear here is left behind us as soon as you go outside. You have to imbibe knowledge. Even if you cannot remember anything else, Remember Shivbaba, praise him internally in a very incognito way. Baba, it never even entered my mind or my consciousness that you would come and teach us. It is not mentioned in any scriptures that the incorporeal Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, comes to teach us. Baba, now we know. Instead of the Father's frame, they have inserted the name of Krishna and made the Gita false. It cannot be the divine activities of Krishna. The Gita is the scripture of the confluence age, but they have made it belong to the copper age. The father says, children, renounce everything else and pay attention to your studies. If you do not stay in remembrance and do not stay busy in your studies, then it is a waste of time. Your time is most valuable, and so you should not waste it. You have to earn your livelihood, but you should not waste time in wasteful thoughts. Every second of yours is as valuable as a diamond. The father says, Man manabhav, time spent in that brings benefit, whereas anything else is waste of time. Keep a chart and see how much time you waste. There is only one word, Man manabhav. For half a cycle, you have a life of liberation, and for half a cycle, you have a life of bondage. You went into the Satopradhan stage, then Sato and Rajo, and then Tamo. We are becoming liberated in life. The one who is making us, this is the Father. Everyone receives liberation in life. They will experience happiness first and then sorrow according to their own religion. New souls that come down first experience happiness. Some are praised very much and they have strength because they are new souls. Music of happiness should be playing inside you. We are sitting in front of BapDada. The new creation is being created. Your praise of this time is even greater than the praise of the golden age. Jagadamba and the goddesses existed at the confluence age. The Brahmins also existed then. You know that you are Brahmins at the moment and that you will then become deities worthy of being worshipped. Temples will be built in memory of you. You become living deities. They are non living images. Ask them, how did this one become a deity? If someone comes to speak to you, explain, we were Brahmins and then we became deities. You are in living form. You explain, this knowledge is first class. You are bringing about establishment. Children say, we will not settle for anything less than the status of Lakshmi and Narayan. We will claim a full inheritance. This school is such that everyone says, we have come to study ancient Raj Yoga. You became deities by having yoga. You have now become Brahmins from Shudras and you will then become deities from Brahmins. The main aspect is to have remembrance. It is only in your having remembrance that Maya creates obstacles. Although you try very hard, your intellect still wander here and there. All the efforts is and thus. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, BapDada. The spiritual father says, Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says, Namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. Essence for the dharana. First point, become a bestower of happiness like the Father. Do not cause sorrow for anyone through your thoughts, words, or deeds. Let your consciousness be filled with peace and always stay cheerful. Second point, do not waste your time in wasteful thoughts. praise the Father internally. Blessing. May you be free from any bondage of karma and perform every action as a karma yogi according to the elevated directions. Explanation. The children who perform every action according to the elevated directions have unlimited spiritual intoxication. While performing actions, they do not attract any bondage of karma. They are detached and loving. By performing actions, a karma yogi's waves of sorrow cannot come to them. They remain constantly detached and loving. No bondage of any action can pull them. They always perform actions as masters, and this is why they experience the stage of being free from any bondage. Such souls remain constantly happy themselves and also give happiness to others. Slogan. Become an authority of experience and you will never be deceived. Om Shanti